Hi everyone, this is me again, back with the second part in my series on how to play Magic the Gathering. In the last part, I talked about building a deck and how to actually get started in your video. I can't talk today. In your getting started in Magic the Gathering and getting started building your deck. And this time, I'm going to be talking about the different colors and types of a card. A card can be many things, from basic land, like I talked about in the last video, to a creature or an artifact, and in some cases, even an artifact creature. Now, as you can see, there are many different types of cards here, and I'm just holding a few of them. There are tons of different types. In fact, if I were to list them all, I wouldn't need to make an encyclopedia. I wouldn't be able to do it in just a few videos. In fact, right now, I would have wasted, I wouldn't have wasted any time, because it would seem like a fraction of a second compared to how long it would take me to explain all the different types. Alright, but first off, I'm going to tell you about the five different colors of mana in the game. There are 5 different colors of mana that are used to cast 5 different colors of spells. There's blue, there are islands which produce blue mana, plains which produce white, forests which produce green, mountains which produce red, and swamps which produce black. Now, these different colors different colors affect the game only in the mana costs of cards, which I'll be explaining in the next video. But the type of land doesn't really matter unless an effect says so otherwise. Cards can break the rules in tons of different types of ways. For example, there may be a rule that says you can only have a certain amount of cards of this type on the battlefield at once. There are cards that break that rule. For example, there might be a rule somewhere that says, for example, there's a thing that says you can only have four of any one card in your deck. For example, I couldn't have 5 Iron Mirror. I could only have 4. I would need to take 1 out before I could play a game. There are cards that break that rule. For example, a card one of my peers named Corby has. It's Ravenous Rats. It says a player can have any number of cards named Ravenous Rats in their deck. So yeah, there are a bunch of different ways that the game can break the rules for itself. Now, different types of land produce different types of mana for different types of cards. For example, an island, which produces blue mana, is necessary to play a card like Reckless Scholar here, for example. He has blue in his mana cost, which I'll be talking about later. Different types. I'm only going to be listing a few here because I don't have much time left, but the different types on your average card are instant. I'm just going to be listing them. Instant. An instant is a special card. It means its effect carries out, but you can play it at any point in time during the game, even in response to someone's declaration of playing a card. For example, let's say I was going to play the card Standing Troops. My opponent can say in response, I'm going to play Machinate, which is an instant, as you can see, because they can play it at any time, even while a card is on the stack. Whenever you play a card of any type, whenever you pay its mana cost to play it, even land goes on the stack. Whenever you play a card, it's on the stack, meaning it's going like this. It's descending into the world of Magic. Things can be played while it's on the stack and cut through that stack and delay it for a short time, or even stop it in its tracks. There are some cards that say counter target spell, and they're an instant. That means the spell never comes into play, its effects never happen, unless the thing says, when you cast this, do this. There are sorceries, see out there, which is the same as an instant, only it can only be played during your turn, or during your main phase. Your main phase is near the beginning and near the end of your, and near the end of your turn. There are two main phases, which I'll be talking about later. There's enchantments and enchantment auras, which are two different things. An enchantment generally just goes into the battlefield and it stays, and it doesn't really do anything except for the effect. But an enchantment aura attaches to something. For example, this says enchantment aura, enchant creature. That means I will attach it to a creature. Like, say, for example, I had an Iron Mirror out. I could attach Helm of the Gas Lord to my Iron Mirror, and the effect would happen. Creatures, I'm going to do a video for them. Basically, they attack and block and die and win the game for you in some cases, and do a bunch of different things. And there's artifacts. Artifacts are, generally an artifact won't have any sort of colored mana in its mana cost, but, it still is the same as any other card. It stays on the battlefield, and it does what its effect is. Now, an artifact may have effects that cost colored mana, but if they don't have any colored mana in their primary mana cost, they're still not colored. For example, this, it has green in its secondary mana cost, but not in its primary, so it's still colorless. So the final and most important that you should note is legendary. Anything can be legendary. Any permanent. A permanent is a spell that when you cast it, it stays on the battlefield until it's destroyed, or removed from the game for some reason. Legendary, any legendary permanent of any type, there can only be one on the battlefield of each. There can only be one on the battlefield of a certain name on the battlefield at once. For example, I couldn't have two Children of the Whispering Ones on the battle out. If for some reason they both came out onto the battlefield at the same time, they would both be removed from the game. They would both be removed from the game. And when the game ends, you still get to put them back in your deck, but as the rest of the game goes, they don't exist anymore. So, for example, if we got out two Children of the Whispering One, they would both just fizzle out and wouldn't exist anymore. Alright, that's it. It's a pretty long video. I'm getting near the end. I'm going to have to stop now. I'll be uploading more videos, hopefully today, but probably not, probably tomorrow. So yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.